Hi everybody, Mark Wells from Evolution Equestrian here out at Brookby. It's day 2 of the show jumping. Yesterday was hot, sunny, dusty and windy. Today is pretty much looking the same, but it's a lovely day for jumping. The grounds are great. They've watered ring 2 and 3 overnight. Ring 1 up there with the ebb and flow, or where the sand arena is fantastic to jump on. I'm just sitting here with Robbie McKay, my new friend. He's been to 4 GATs, I believe, and we're going to ask him a few questions about it. So, Robbie, thanks for sitting down with us.
Fine, mate.
What's your background, mate? What's your background?
I'm a dairy farmer and kiwi fruit orchardist in Opotiki, a little town in the east coast of New Zealand.
Yeah.
And and horses haven't been my life.
No.
I didn't really start endeavouring into the horsing field until I was about 49, 50 years old.
What were you doing before that? What was your hobbies before that?
I was a petrol head.
A petrol head. What? Racing cars or bikes?
Jet boats and motocross.
Jet boats and motocross. So you're an adrenaline junkie. Let's be fair.
I dare say so. Yeah.
Cool. So when did you start riding, and why did you swap?
I got sick of getting hurt riding motocross.
Yes.
I wanted to be kicking butt when I was 49, 50 years old in the motocross scene, all the 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
But I got 2 broken legs and decided, nah, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm out of this, and stopped doing it. And then my wife had a horse in the paddock at home.
Yeah.
That she was told not to point it at a fence or to leave it behind.
Yeah.
And we bought the dairy farm next door to us, which had the hunt field on it.
Mm.
And so I took this horse and did a season's hunting.
Yep.
At the end of the season's hunting, I'd enjoyed myself so much, I thought, I don't want to give up.
Yeah.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I thought, I might give this show jumping lark a go.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
All right, so let's touch on the Global Amateur Tour. When did you first hear about the Global Amateur Tour?
About 2017, 18, I think.
Yep.
And I saw on Lucy Alford's show jumping page where she was endeavouring to get some people to come forward to ride in Mexico.
Yes.
And I thought that'd be a good idea to go and have a go at it.
Yeah.
I dare say when I started riding and started the show jumping journey that I've been on, I aspired back then when I was jumping 60, 70, 80 centimetres as a 50-year-old to jump a metre 20 capably.
Yep.
And I've now got there and surpassed that. I've done a few metre 30 tracks.
Yep.
I rode Pro-Am all the time now.
Yes.
And I never ever dreamed or thought I'd ever ride overseas. And I thought, well, I can do a metre 20.
Yep.
That's what one of the prerequisites to riding in the GAT is.
So why not do it?
And so why not have a go and have an experience?
Yep.
And so I was in.
Yep. Okay. And so now your first Global Amateur Tour, where was that at?
Well, the first one I did was in Mexico.
Mexico.
But that wasn't effectively a GAT, although we fondly call it that, I guess. It was a Masters tournament.
Oh, your Masters, yes.
Yeah. And then I did another one in Argentina.
Yep.
And a third one in Brazil.
Yeah.
Plus one in New Zealand.
Yeah. So which one's your favourite? So far, isn't it?
They've all been very good for different reasons. The favourite one for me would have to be Argentina, I guess, because I went well. Yes. I had a good horse.
Yeah.
It was, terrific people, but it doesn't matter. You get those terrific people wherever you go in this tournament.
Yeah.
And most of the GAT is in Latin America, plus New Zealand. That's the
not a bad
one
place
out of the
to
box.
be going, mate.
Yeah, and they're all so friendly and obliging and helpful.
Yeah.
They're all horsing nations.
Yes.
And so it's just a great experience.
Yeah. So what would you say your main takeaway feeling or experience has been from your foray into the Global Amateur Tour so far? What is it? What's the hook? Why do you keep coming back? I mean, you've done it now. Why do you keep doing it again?
Because of the experience in general.
Yeah.
It's, we do it primarily because we're horse lovers and we love the competition.
Yeah.
I do it because I'm a bit stubborn, I suppose, and like a challenge.
Yeah. The travel? Travel's a major part?
Yeah, well, I'd never been a traveller.
Yeah.
I'd been pretty much a country boy sitting at home, and my wife gave Lucy the strict instructions on the one to Mexico, look after Robbie because he'll get lost.
Don't set him free.
But I don't set him free, yeah, no. But we've got to beyond that now, and I enjoy what I'm doing when I'm there. I'm quite comfortable. The GAT, as I said, you've got your competition with your horses, and the complexity of getting them around a course successfully, especially over there where you only get about 3/4 of an hour to ride the horse before you go and ride it. Let's face it, Mark, you wouldn't go down the road tomorrow and buy a horse and 2 days later or a day later put it in a competition, and this is a genuine international competition with people from all around the world, and
it's a tough ask.
It is a tough ask, and that's what I found really tough on the first one, which was the Mexican, which was a Masters tournament rather than a GAT. And I really came up against the brick wall there, and came home with my butt kicked in. I thought, and what did I take away from it, you ask? I came home and thought I'd better learn to ride.
I'm going to have to do it better.
I have to do it better. And I thought, I'm never going to do another one of these again. It was just too hard. And then I thought, nah, being the stubborn person I am, I can't leave it at this, and I know I'm better. So I then got given the opportunity to go back to Argentina, and where I luckily drew a very good horse. The horse sponsors there and gave me a very good horse.
So it's drawn. Is it drawn out of a hat? How do they pair you up with a horse in the Global Amateur Tour?
You go over there and there's a selection of horses that are offered, and you get to ride them. The horse sponsors will watch the videos that Lucy's submitted to them, and try and pair you up with a horse. It doesn't always work.
No, of course not.
And then you go from there. I've always Mexico. I got a second horse, and I've seen other people get a redraw, as it were. Argentina, I landed a good horse and stayed with it. Brazil, I landed a good horse, but unfortunately I found it was a struggle when I got him indoors. Outdoors he was good.
So the Brazil one was indoors?
That was indoors, mate. And anybody that's ridden, I guess, in Europe, where I've never been, or will understand what I'm talking about, but until you've gone and ridden that Sao Paulo event, that's just an event on a different level, level. That's world class. And I dare say moneyed. There's nobody that rides there at the Hippico Palista that is not well founded.
That's right.
That is an experience in itself.
It's an elitist sport there, isn't it?
Very much so. Very much so. And some of those guys, they ride there predominantly, I think, all their career. They don't actually have to go anywhere else. And unlike us that are travelling every weekend wherever we want to go. And so it's very different, and upmarket, to be honest. And
now, let's say Joe Bloggs wants to go on to this Global Amateur Tour overseas, not the New Zealand one. What about the stuff outside of the show jumping? I mean, you travel all the way to Brazil. I don't want to just see the equestrian park there. What else can you do? Is there time? Is there stuff arranged? Can you get out and about?
There is time arranged. The Mexican trip, we had a few days after the event where we toured around. During the event, we had a few days from time to time where we went and had a look at things. We did tour around Mexico and have a look at places that weren't too far distant from where we were competing. The competition itself took you over a few hundred kilometres from Mexico City up to Querétaro, where we competed, and then we went up to Michel de Londe, I think is the name of the place, and just touring. Then when we went back to Argentina, that was more of a just go and ride, and I was happy. I did the two in 1 year, so I was kind of had to get home and do some work. You know, it doesn't happen by itself. I like to go and be doing what I enjoy. You know, I'm not really a sightseeing person, although it was good to see these things. And then we went to Brazil in 2019, just gone, And that was a reasonably quick tour too.
Yeah.
And it was mainly about riding the horses. We had a look around Sao Paulo, but basically that was a lot.
Yeah.
But that was an experience in itself anyway.
Absolutely. I've always dreamed of going to Brazil. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
Robbie, what are your plans for the future with your riding career and with the Global Amateur Tour? We know that we've got Takapoto just around the corner with the Global Amateur Tour there. You're going to ride in that one?
Most definitely.
Yep. And what about the future trips? Where is the next Global Amateur Tour internationally?
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure. I should know. But okay. No, I don't know.
Are you keen to go over and do another one abroad?
Oh, most definitely. Absolutely. Providing I'm considered good enough to go and do it, you know.
Yeah, well, you've been to 4, it'll be 5 in Takapoto. I'm
5
sure
in Takapoto,
yeah. Want to go.
There's actually only one other person that's
done more?
Well, she may not have done more by the time we do Takapoto, and that's Carolina Gomez from Peru.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Hero and neck and neck. No, I don't think she has.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No.
So it's a race between you and her to do the most and get a win.
Well, I don't know about that, but
not in it to come second.
We try not to.
Yeah. So overall, the overall experience is just A1, top quality, and you totally recommend it for
I do recommend it.
It's an amateur that can jump 120 confidently. Get in there and have a go.
Yeah, you can jump 120 competently.
Yeah.
You can put the time aside and the funds aside to go and do it because it's not funded.
No.
It's all on your back.
Yeah.
It's an experience where you experience the riding the horses, the culture of the country. You then become part of a family of people. And to be honest, I could probably go into a number of these countries and surrounding countries and go and ride now by myself if I chose.
Yeah.
Because of the friendships I've made.
You made some contacts and friends
and and then some of those people will come into New Zealand at Takapoto in 2 weeks' time.
So you'll be looking forward to catching up with them?
Most definitely, definitely. And you know, I guess the thing that I hear most about the GAT is the cost of it.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap, but I actually think that the cost is relevant to the experience.
Yeah.
And I've said to people, if you went for a trip to these countries, I mean, the round figure for travelling on a GAT is about $10,000, just give or take. And if you wanted to travel to those countries, aeroplane ticket and hotels and travel and that sort of thing, you're about $5,000 probably.
Yeah.
And so it's no different from going on a GAT.
Yeah.
Now,
I think that's reasonable, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, and then on top of that, just tack another $10,000 for the horse, the entry fees, the looking after, the grooming, the transport of the horse, and everything associated with it. And if people go, shit, you know, that's a lot just to go and have 4 rides or 5 rides or whatever you're going to have.
Yeah.
And it probably is if you look at it like that. But you're there for a reason. And the next thing is what I say is that while that transport to and from the country and within the country and the accommodation is about $5,000, what would you spend while you were there?
Well,
you're probably going to spend another good for $5,000 going and buying this and buying that and souvenirs and going and sightseeing and so. What would you rather do? You know, you've got to toss it up. If you're a horse fanatic, I know what I'd rather be doing. I'd rather be riding the horses and meeting the people associated with them. And also, when you're there, the people you're meeting and the places you're going are not touristy necessarily.
No, so it's authentic.
It's authentic, without a doubt. And the people you're meeting are genuine. And they will show you places and that you might not normally see.
Yeah.
And so, it's just a totally different experience.
Yeah, I think you can't really attribute the cost or compare the cost to a holiday like that. I mean, for an amateur rider, a capable one that can jump the 120, you don't have an opportunity to go and jump in an international competition, especially abroad. No. You can't do that. There is no way you can do that.
There isn't.
You know?
And
so what you're paying for there is one hell of an experience.
And I just say, yeah, how else could you do it? You couldn't.
You can't.
And that's where the concept of this competition came from.
Yeah, it's a bloody great idea.
The Mexican guy, Christian, his mother was is a very good amateur rider.
Yeah.
And she got annoyed that she had nowhere to go and compete internationally, and she had mentioned this to her son. Yeah. And he's a very good friend of Lucy Alford's.
Yep.
And between him, Lucy, and Alex Dattelkramer from Brazil, they were sitting down over a wine or a beer one day, and the subject came up. They said, "Why don't we fix this?"
Yeah, fix it.
So they fixed it.
And fix it they did.
And they fixed it they did, you know. And one thing I think that's got to be respected here or taken on board is that we from New Zealand are the longest distance travelling people that compete over there.
Yes.
And
you can't get much further.
And
yeah.
it brings about its inherent difficulties, i.e. the expense of being there.
Yep.
But in saying that, it's probably Lucy and the New Zealanders in lots of respects that make it truly international, because while the other international people, they're coming from places around the world. There's Canadians, there's Aussies, there's Scots people at times, there's Canadians, but a lot of those people may be resident in the Latin American countries anyway. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So the GAT initially is made up of the Latin American countries to start with, and then New Zealand's thrown in there. And I think we have to take our hat off to Lucy for making this happen. Yeah. And I know it's not easy for her.
No,
I mean, she's
bitten off a lot to chew.
It's a lot to chew.
Yeah.
And you know, you and I are making a living.
Yeah.
And then we're paying to go and have a good time. Yeah. To go on the GAT.
Yes. Yeah.
She's actually doing a job.
Yeah.
And she needs to be paid to do it.
Yeah,
and I think that's a concept that people don't take on board when they're having to pay the money to go and do it. And she's not earning a living while she's over there, you know.
The organisation to do something like that is huge.
Oh, mate,
the hours that go in, unpaid hours.
Oh, yeah. And it's all a learning curve. It's in its infancy.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it is in its infancy. And I just hope that it continues to grow and get bigger and better. And one thing I would say to people is, you think you're good when you're here.
Yeah.
Go over there.
Big fish, little pond, mate.
You come back with your tail between your legs, and I can attest to that, and a couple of times.
Yes.
But continue to be dogged and come up and have another go.
Yeah. Don't quit.
Don't quit.
So let's talk about Lucy. Lucy, a very good show jumper in her own right. Yesterday she ran some crazy ultra marathon for a good cause, for Team Oscar. A young boy, I think, that's pretty crook. Yeah. She's an all-round good girl. She's doing a lot of hard work, a lot of unpaid hours, so that everybody else can, pay their fee, but then go on and have these amazing experiences. Do we need to try and get on board some sort of corporation to give some backing to the Global Amateur Tour?
I guess that's a conversation that would have to be had with Lucy and her co-founders. Yeah. But I think certainly that it's a pretty big ask to have one person trying to, in New Zealand, one person, and trying to make it happen. Yeah. You know, she's not a rich lady. She's pretty dynamic, and I must say, when I read that Facebook post yesterday about what she did with the ultra marathon and supporting that young guy with leukemia, it started to make me cry. Yeah. But you know, that's her.
Heart, that girl.
Yeah. And I don't know how she does it. Dynamic, and I question whether she can continue to keep doing it at the pace and the momentum that she's got to do it.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, she needs help. Yeah. That's what I believe. She needs help to do it.
Yeah.
You just can't. And even if it's only ideas, you know, batting ideas and just picking up the slack now and again. At the end of the day, she's the guiding light in the whole job.
Yes. Yeah.
And needs to stay there because it's her baby at this point, unless she chooses not to do it.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm really looking forward to Takapoto. Evolution Equestrian is one of the sponsors. I believe you're also sponsoring as well. So we're doing our little bit to help out, and you're going to meet all your old friends from overseas there. And don't let them beat you. They can't come all this way and beat the man on home turf.
You know, I'm probably a little bit lucky here. Well, I don't know whether lucky's I've made a very good friend, a number of good friends, but certainly one of them is Alex Kramer. He's one of the main founders. Yeah.
Yep.
And last year I organised a horse for him, and Lucy normally organises all the horse, but because he's such a good friend, I had a horse that had previously jumped Grand Prix, and I thought this will be to do Alex. And so, but unfortunately the horse went lame prior to him coming here, so we had to find him another horse. And then this year I was actually going to give him my best horse, my good one that I'm riding here today, and that up until 10 days or a fortnight ago, that was the plan. And I'd ride my other horse, who's not a slug either. She's a good horse, but she's come up lame, and so I've got to take my good back. So I'm sorry, Alex, but I can't see myself spending $10,000 and going the other side of the world at 1,000 and sitting on the sideline in New Zealand.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that was very kind of you to give him the good one straight up anyway. But no doubt Lucy will have a nice one.
We hope so, because it's
in mine. Yeah. In fact, there's a couple of nice horses that myself and Taylor Keon, we went up north and tried a couple, so I know there's a couple of good ones from Northern coming down anyway. Awesome.
It is hard in New Zealand to get good horses, as I see it, because most of us have got 1 or 2 in our team, maybe 4 in the truck, and that's the average New Zealand jumping team, show jumping team. And if you go overseas, the horses are drawn from stables with 60 or 70 horses in them, 40 with a minimum, and you're not going to get the best horses without a doubt. You can't expect people to give you their best horses.
No.
But we're not the best of riders in the world either. And so, but they have got, a choice of maybe 20 horses in their stable at least that they're going to choose from. And we don't have that. We don't have that opportunity or facility in New Zealand. And so organising good horses here is a problem, but I think most people have got their heart behind putting something up good. I know I certainly was doing it. I know Karen Eagle and Nick Eagle from Sundown Floats did it last year with Beyonce for Alex. And there's other good horses that have been put up, which I can't think of who's or what, because I don't know them all. I'm not part of the organisation. I'm just a very avid follower and competitor within it. And I guess I'm a sponsor. And I guess I'm at a time in life where I can put some funds up, put some time out there, and I'd like to think I'm capable of continuing to do it, but that's over to Lucy, I guess, now.
Well, I've watched you ride throughout the weekend. You'll have no problems, mate. You'll have no problems.
I don't know about that.
All right, Robbie. Well, look, I think the Global Amateur Tour is an absolute great initiative. The more stuff like this we can get going, the better. I think Lucy's doing a great job in New Zealand. Hopefully it can go from strength to strength. It would be fantastic if we could attract some major sponsors towards it, and it can just grow and grow and grow. The more people, the better. If you're an amateur rider and you can jump the height and you've got a few dollars tucked away there, why not go and enjoy this journey that Robbie's been on 4 times now, soon to be 5 in a few weeks, and no doubt it'll be 6 within the next 12 months, because he's obviously addicted and can't stop. So that's great.
That pretty much sums it up. Pretty much sums it up, my friend.
Awesome. And, all right, well, thanks very much for your time, Robbie. I know that you've got to shoot back to Apotiki now. It was great to catch up with you, and I shall see you at Takapoto.
And it's good to see you on board as a sponsor too.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, mate.
Okay, buddy.
Okay.